Hey guys, it's Kai from Lucas Lane and Royals. Hope you're doing well. I got a lot of people asking me questions about feeding ball pythons, what to feed, how to appropriately size the prey, and things like that. So considering today is feeding day, I thought I'd take you guys along for the ride. So if you go on Google and you search for ball python prey size chart, you'll get a bunch of charts and they're all pretty much the same. They'll have the ball python weight, they'll have the type of prey, whether it's a mouse or a rat or a fuzzy or weaned, hopper, small, medium, large, and the weights of all those prey items associated to them as well. So you can basically just use the chart if you really want to be all scientific and figure out how to size the prey item for your ball python. I used those same charts when I was starting out, but now I pretty much just eyeball it. What I look for is the diameter of the prey item's body to be about the same as the thickest part of the snake. And that's how I know it's the right size prey for the snake. But in this video, I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to weigh the snakes, I'm going to weigh the prey items, and then I'm going to feed according to those online charts. I'm going to start out with a hatchling. This one happens to be a normal or classic. He is about 110 grams. According to some charts, he should be eating rats that are pinky or fuzzy size. Pinky is like a newborn rat. Fuzzy is a few days old. What I have are fuzzies. As I weigh them, you can see the weight range, but they don't fluctuate by much. These are 16 to 17 grams or so. What I do with the frozen prey is I put them in a bucket of warm water for about 30 minutes. Then I drain out the water and replace it with hot water, which is roughly 120 to 130 degrees in Fahrenheit. Here I'm feeding one of the fuzzies to the classic ball python. You can probably tell here that the body size of that fuzzy is about the same as the thickest part of the snake. That's something to keep an eye on throughout this video. Alright, let's move on to something a little bit bigger than a hatchling. This is what I consider a well-started hatchling. She is a bumblebee that is pushing 341 grams. At her size, she would be eating rat pups. 24 gram is average weight for a pup. 18 gram is probably on the low end. Here I'm just drying off that 24 gram pup. She's always been a good strong feeder, and having the spider gene doesn't seem to affect this girl at all. In fact, there's no wobble present here. Next is a 3 gene animal. By the way, I'm weighing these snakes a day prior to feeding. I just don't like to bother them on the day of feeding. This one is coming in at 517 grams, so she's pretty well off. She will be taking weaned rats. These are ranging from 35 to 41 grams, which is typical for a weaned size. Again, I've thawed it, heated it, and dried it. You can see how excited she is when it comes to feeding. She's always striked at the food. We'll check back on her later. This last one I want to show you, you saw her in the previous video. Her weight is just under 700 grams, which I consider a subadult, so she'll be taking small rats. The small rat size come in a pretty big weight range. It goes from about 40 grams all the way up to over 80 grams. The small rats that I have are around 50 grams. I wouldn't feed a 80 gram rat to her. In fact, I think this is the first time she's getting a small. Prior to this, she's been getting weaned rats that are on the higher end of that scale. Anyway, a 50 gram rat seems just right. Don't you love it when they pee the day after cleaning? Oh, and don't worry about the lack of water. I just dumped it out and I'll tell you why later. So just returning back to the earlier snake, I'm just going to show you how to eat because I think it's amazing. So hopefully seeing different sized snakes and rats give you a better idea how to feed. Also keep in mind the smaller the prey, the more frequent the feedings. For example, hatchlings will eat pinkies and fuzzies, which are small prey, so hatchlings should be fed every 4 to 5 days. Once a snake is big enough to take weaned or small rats, then the feeding can be spread out to about once a week. My adult females take medium rats and I feed them every 10 to 14 days. After this one finishes, we'll check back in with the inchi pied. And I'll tell you, I dumped out her water for 2 reasons. First, she made a mess in her bowl. Second, she's outgrowing her tub size, so when she eats, she moves around sometimes and tilting the water bowl, sometimes dragging the prey through the water bowl, and if the prey gets too wet, she just doesn't eat it. Now that she's done, I can add the water back in. I'm not going to worry about cleaning out her tub until tomorrow. I don't like to mess with them right before feeding or right after feeding. Well, there you go. I just fed 4 different snakes with 4 different prey items, all according to their size and weight, based on those charts that you can find online. In a future video, I'll feed medium-sized rats to my large females and maybe even do a live feeding or something. So that's all for now. If you're new to this channel, make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell. If you enjoyed this video or find it helpful, please give me a like. Thanks for watching, please share, and I'll see you guys next time.